When I opened the door, I expected to see a delivery guy, not a woman who looked exactly like me. Same face, same eyes, same tiny scar under the chin. She didn't say hello. She just whispered, "You need to leave your family. Tonight." And before I could even respond, she handed me an envelope with my name written in my own handwriting. Before I tell you what was inside that envelope, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, because this story isn't just about family secrets. It's about a truth that was hidden from me my entire life. My name is Lydia Grace, and I've always thought I had a normal, peaceful family. My parents were loving, a little strict maybe, but never cruel. I grew up in a small town where everyone knew each other, and I was the kind of person who trusted too easily. A week before my 28th birthday, I started receiving strange calls. No one spoke, just breezing. At first, I brushed it off as a wrong number, until I started getting them at work, too. Then came that knock on the door. The woman standing there wasn't just similar, she was identical. Her name, she said, was Laura, and her first words to me were, "They've been lying to you. You were never meant to be here." I thought it was some sort of prank, maybe a scam. But then she handed me that envelope. Inside was an old photo, 2 babies wrapped in the same blanket, and a hospital bracelet that had my full name printed on it, except the date of birth was different by 2 years. My mind went blank. I laughed nervously and told her she had the wrong person, but she just shook her head. "They took you from me," she said quietly. "You were supposed to grow up with me, but they made sure we never met." I slammed the door, thinking she was crazy, but that night I couldn't sleep. Her face, my face, kept flashing in my mind, so I pulled out old photo albums. And that's when I noticed something I'd never seen before. All my baby photos started from when I was 2 years old. Nothing before that. No birth pictures, no hospital photos, nothing. The next morning, I confronted my mom. She froze when I showed her the bracelet. Her hands trembled as she said, "Where did you get that?" I told her everything, about Laura, the photo, the warning to leave. She went pale, sat down, and for the first time in my life, she cried. After a long silence, she finally said, "Lydia, you were adopted." But that wasn't even the shocking part. She admitted I wasn't adopted through normal means. She said a man, someone she barely knew, had brought me to her and my father one night, claiming my biological mother couldn't keep me. No documents, no agency, nothing legal. My parents had always wanted a child, so they said yes. She begged me to understand, saying they had no idea who I really was. I felt sick. My entire identity, my childhood, my trust in them shattered in an instant. I didn't know if Laura was telling the truth, but I had to find out. That night, I met Laura again in a nearby park. She showed me something my parents never could: DNA results. Our profiles matched perfectly. We were twins. But then she told me the part that made my stomach twist. The man who gave me away, the same man who handed me to my adoptive parents, had been working for a real father, a wealthy businessman who disappeared years ago under strange circumstances. Laura said he'd left behind a massive inheritance, and that someone in my adoptive family had taken it. I didn't want to believe her. My parents weren't greedy people. But when she showed me the proof, legal papers with my father's signature forged, money transfers dated years before I was born, I couldn't deny it. Someone had used me. Laura wanted justice. She said we could expose everything, return what was stolen, clear our real father's name. But she also warned me that once I started asking questions, they'd come after me too. At first, I hesitated. Then I remembered how my mom cried, not because she was sorry, but because she was scared of losing everything. So I joined Laura. We started digging, quietly. Old bank statements, property files, and letters our real father had written before his death. The deeper we went, the more disturbing it got. Turns out my adoptive father had worked for him years ago. When my biological father vanished, my dad suddenly had enough money to buy the very house we lived in. Coincidence? No. I confronted my parents one last time, holding the DNA report and the forged documents in my hand. My dad's face turned stone cold. He didn't deny it. Instead, he whispered, "You were never supposed to find out." Before I could react, Laura walked in. She had recorded everything. That recording, our father's confession, the proof of forgery, and the evidence of stolen inheritance was all sent anonymously to the authorities the next day. A week later, my parents' assets were frozen. Investigators called it a historic fraud case. The news spread quickly, and my father's career was over. Laura and I stood outside the courthouse together. For the first time, I saw peace in her eyes, and maybe a bit of forgiveness. She turned to me and said, "Now you're finally free, Lydia. You can start over." But revenge doesn't always feel like victory. Sometimes it feels like standing in the ruins of everything you thought was real. I lost the family that raised me, but I found the sister who never gave up on me. And that's maybe what truth really is. Not something that saves you, but something that changes you forever.